Make it for this meeting today. Can I check if is there a member who wants to make an announcement?
Be good. Be good.
Am I the only one who doesn't hear the speaker or what's happening? And it looks like she only started by asking for announcement. You didn't hear this, the request for us to observe the moment.
You're not the only one, Brasox.
Yes.
All of us can hear her.
All of us who don't hear her.
Yes. Yeah, she started just in the middle.
Good morning, honorable members. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Madam
Good,
Speaker.
now we hear you.
Good morning.
Morning, Madam Speaker.
Now we can't hear you, Madam Speaker.
What's wrong with my audio? Can you observe a moment of silent prayer and meditation? Honorable Malubane, can you take over?
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. May we observe a moment of silence or prayer, silence prayer? Thank you very much, honorable members. Good morning. Let me take this opportunity to welcome and acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Premier of Gauteng, Tate David Makura, as well as MECs who are present. I'd also like to acknowledge the presence of all our honorable members, as well as IEC leadership that is here today to give us a briefing on the preparations for elections, next year's elections. Let me also acknowledge the senior leadership of administration led by Mr. Skosana, and also acknowledge those who have joined us, who are members of the public, the citizens of Gauteng. We are all welcome and hope that today we will have a successful and a peaceful sitting. In terms of announcement, we are going to have an IEC briefing on the preparations for elections, and we will give them an opportunity to address us after we have received the members, the MEC statements in terms of Rule 79 in brackets 1, as well as member statements in terms of Rule 1881 in bracket number 1. So those are the announcements that I'd like to make. And I must also indicate that we do have a motion without notice in terms of Rule 120. And of course, we have apologies from one member. The one that I've only received is from member A. Albert from Freedom Front. Is there any other apologies, honorable members?
Madam Chair of Chairs.
Yes. Members, I need to indicate to you, I'm using my iPad, so I'm not able to see hands when they're raised. Can we indicate our names so that I can note you? And after I've noted everybody, I'll then come back to the one that I've actually noted first. And
okay, Mike Moriarty.
Okay, you're noted, Honorable Moriarty. Another
Member
person I
Masemula.
had a female. Okay, Member Masemula. Any other person? In terms of apologies? Thank you very much, Honorable Member Moriarty. Please indicate.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair of Chairs. I need to leave early if I may. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable. By saying early, what do you mean? As early as 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock?
10:30.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mike Moriarty. Any other person? Member Masemula?
Thank you, Madam Chair of Chairs. Member Tong won't be able to join the sitting today. He's got family matters.
Okay. Thank you very much. Those who are application for leave of absence, can I get an indication from the House? Are those application for leave of absence accepted or noted?
Accepted, Chair of Chairs.
Noted.
Yeah, they're noted.
Noted,
Okay.
Chair.
Accepted.
Thank you very much. We'll then move to the next item, which is actually MEC statements in terms of Rule 79. I don't have the names with me at the moment. Can I then get an indication? Is there an MEC that is going to make a statement? So it means there was no MEC that was supposed to make a statement.
No one,
MEC.
Chairperson.
Okay, thank you very much. Because I don't have a list with me, I was just asked by the speaker to take over. Unfortunately, I don't have the list of everyone that is supposed to speak. In terms of members, member statement, in terms of Rule 18, in bracket 1, Member Shackleton from the DA.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. It has become abundantly clear this year, given the far-reaching powers of government under the state of disaster in response to COVID-19, that police brutality is spiraling out of control. Since March, the blatant abuse of power exerted by members of the SAPS has been widely publicized and condemned. And while it may not have been condoned by those in power, their deafening silence speaks to their compliance. There are many good to honest members of the SAPS, men and women who serve the badge with pride. Yet there are elements who undermine this good work through their abusive approach to the people of this country. When crime is as endemic as it is in South Africa, the last thing citizens deserve is to fall victim to the people who are charged with their very protection. For those who have suffered at the hands of abusive SAPS members, for the good officers who do their jobs fastidiously without complaint, we owe it to them to root this problem out. To this end, I implore this House to establish an ad hoc committee to ensure that this wayward behavior and abuse of power is brought to an end, and those who are brought to book. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay, thank you very much, Member Shackleton. May we move to Member Litwaba from the ANC? May Toli Litwaba. May Toli Litwaba. Member statement. If Mayor Litwaba is not ready, I'll move to the next person and I'll come back to Mayor Toli Litwaba. Can I then move to Member Dilange from Freedom Plus? Mayor Dilange.
Plus Moort.
Mayor Dilange. Okay. If there's no one, am I audible, honorable members?
Yeah,
we can hear you, ma'am.
Okay. So Mayor Litwaba is not, Dilange is not here. May I then move to Member N. Khatebe from EFF?
Good morning, chairs of chairs. I have noted with utter disgust and shock at the level with which this ANC-led government continue to subject our people to precarious conditions that demean their violent experiences when cases are remanded, because perpetrators enjoy a presumption of innocence, while the victims and their families are reminded on a daily basis that their lives do not matter as they should. It is very saddening to realize that families of victims that have passed on due to GBV and many other social ill we are currently faced with today must continue to live not only in fear, but perpetual reminding of the love of one they have lost when cases are remanded in the name of conducting further postmortems and autopsies. The current alleged procedures and laws that our people are subjected to in police station further victimize them and their family due to the inefficiency and lack of adequate training and sensitivity on the part of the police. In fact, their entire system as we know and experience it today. Why it is that all the necessary procedures and autopsies relating to the death of a victim take long periods of time of conclude or even are redone because of the lack of professionalism, sensitivity, and properly skilled individual within our legal systems, leaving families unable to grieve accordingly and bury their loved ones with dignity. Lest I remind you, Deputy Chairs of Chairs, that the majority of South African are Black people, and these have certain cultural and religious practices that need to be performed in order to lay someone to rest. These cultural and religious practices are undermined by the inconsistency and reminding of victims remains because
You can continue, member. Member Hatton.
of issues of the
That Batum, Memahate, yo, Batum.
Member Hatton, I'm not sure whether your challenges with your gadget.
Yes, I have challenges. I'm inside my car using my phone.
Okay. Are you able to continue, ma'am?
I'm done, actually.
Okay, thank you very much, Member Khatebe. We'll now call Honorable Member Chogoma Kakula to please read her statement.
Thank you, Chair of Chairs. Madam Chair of Chairs, I stand in terms of Rule 8.1, subsection 1, with my intention to make a statement to congratulate the appointment of Ms. Tsakani Maluleke. The ANC in Gauteng would like to use this opportunity to congratulate the newly appointed Auditor General, Ms. Tsakani Maluleke. In a period where other organizations are enforcing the status quo of patriarchy, the ANC-led government continues to display its confidence in women leadership by supporting women to head in strategic positions. Ms. Tsakani Maluleke comes with a vast array of skills as an experienced chartered accountant with specialized auditing credentials and clear knowledge and expertise in state finances and public administration. The appointment of Ms. Maluleke is a vote of confidence in Black women and an inspiration to up and coming young, ambitious women, proving once again that it is indeed possible to break the glass ceiling and challenge the establishment as it were. In support of all women and Black women professionals in particular, we say, rise up, Emma, Tlakuka, Phakama Mbokodo, your time is now. We are confident that you will be among the best performing Auditor Generals of our time. Once again, we congratulate you and wish you the best in your term as Auditor General. I thank you, Chair of Chairs. Thanks.
Oh, Thank you very much, Honorable Makakula. Congratulations to her. Can we then move to Member R. Kekana? Rufilo Kekana, Honorable Member.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Chair of Chairs. And I wish to address this House in terms of Rule 81, subsection 1. Madam Chair of Chairs, this Sunday, the 1st of November, 2020, marked exactly 1 year since the passing of Thuliso Nkabinde Kawe, who was the MEC for Social Development in Gauteng Provincial Government 6th Administration. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, I thought somebody was interrupting me, so thank you very much. The Gauteng Provincial Government has honored MEC Nkabinde Kawe by launching the Thuliso Nkabinde Kawe Marivale Agro Village at Marivale Military Base in Danota in Ekurhuleni. This event took place on Sunday, the 1st of November 2020, the same day that our honorable beloved MEC and comrade had departed. The late MEC Nkabinde Kawe laid a solid foundation at the Gauteng Department of Social Development in developing a clear and simple vision of fighting poverty in the province. She worked tirelessly with critical stakeholders such as the non-profit organizations in the conceptualization of the
Member Kekane, are you okay? You have disappeared, Member Kekane.
She's muted.
She had muted herself.
Member Kekane,
Member Kekane, unmute.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there. My apologies. Can I start from the second paragraph?
Yes, please, ma'am.
The late MEC Nkabinde Kawe laid a solid foundation at the Gauteng Department of Social Development in developing a clear and simple vision of fighting poverty in the province. She worked tirelessly with critical stakeholders such as the non-profit organizations in the conceptualization of the provincial anti-poverty strategy. It should be noted that her passion in championing the interests of the poorest of the poor started while she was the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Social Development in the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. One of the stories that I heard when I was appointed the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee is that she once bought 300 sanitary pads for school children out of her own pocket without asking for any donation from anyone because she valued the lives of those who cannot provide for themselves, especially the children and the vulnerable. The plight of the poor and the hungry will not be improved through intellectual debates only, but by reshaping the agricultural system in ways that alleviate hunger and poverty and promote sustainable development. And this requires us to work together more effectively. And that is a quote by Premier David Makura, who during the launch of the Thuliso Nkabinde Kawe Marivale Agro Village referred to MEC Nkabinde Kawe as a champion for the poor and the marginalized, and has assured citizens that her monumental legacy in fighting hunger will be kept alive. The aim of the agricultural project is for government and other stakeholders to empower up to 100 women in Ekurhuleni by using agriculture as a catalyst for job creation and food security. This project's outcome will sustain 100% women-owned cooperatives, some of whom are victims of gender-based violence, and the creation of job opportunities for the most vulnerable in our society, and also to promote effective and sustainable local economic participation. The project is a long-term one, and it is envisaged that it will be sustained through government departments buying vegetables from this very project. The Department of Social Development, institutions, shelters, and homes will buy from the project. The Department of Defense will also buy through their 30% procurement spend for their personnel. And the Department of Correctional Services will also buy these vegetables for the inmates through the use of an e-voucher system. This agricultural village, Madam Chair, is also expected to supply local markets such as the Ekurhuleni Fresh Produce Market and local supermarkets with the intention of upscaling into the export markets. The Department of Defense and Military Veterans has also identified and made available 50 hectares of arable land and has partnered with the Gauteng Department of Social Development for the implementation of an agricultural project as part of Women Empowerment Program as envisaged in the Provincial Anti-Poverty Strategy. We really appreciate this initiative and wish to thank all those who had partnered with the department to ensure its success, and also grateful that our people, especially women and the vulnerable, are given an opportunity to contribute to the development of our province. Once again, Madam Chair, we thank the MEC Wabantu, as she is fondly called, Honorable Nomathemba Moketi, and the entire provincial government for honoring one of our own in style and honoring what she lived for. Her memory will stay alive forever, and I thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Kekane. I now call Honorable Sokai Kanyile to read a member statement. Sokai Kanyile. Okay. That statement.
Yes, Chair of Chairs. Yes, Chair of Chairs.
Yes, sir.
Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, I want to take this opportunity and commend the Department of Community Safety on their GPV Brigades program. The department trained women around Gauteng province, giving them necessary skills to detect and assist victims of gender-based violence. The Gender-Based Violence Brigades will also be educating communities about the impact of gender-based violence. In September this year, Madam Speaker, the Police Minister Pegicele listed Dobsonville, Mamelodi East, Tembisa, Deepslot, Alexander, Orange Farm, Honeydew, and Moroka as some of the GPV hotspots in the province. Research indicates that victims of gender-based violence suffer behind closed doors and are mostly abused by the people they know. In 2017, the World Health Organization indicated that globally as many as 38% of murders of women were committed by a male intimate partner. We believe that this initiative, which forms part of the provincial government response to GPV, is a step in the right direction towards curbing gender-based violence and changing the mindset of society. It will further contribute significantly in assisting law enforcement agencies to fight the scourge. We are also pleased that the department will be donating cars to police stations to ensure that victims of gender-based violence are not transported in the same car as their perpetrators. I thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Kanyile. We then now move to notice with motion.
No,
without
Chair. Sorry,
yes.
Chair.
Okay. Indicate
Sorry,
your
Chair.
name, ma'am. Indicate your name so that I can be able to recognize you.
Okay, it's Dolili Dwaba. I was struggling, Chair.
Okay.
To read my statement because I had difficulties with my line.
Okay, ma'am. If you are ready, you are going to speak now, and I will also allow Member Dilange to also read out her statement. Honorable Member Litwaba, you can read your statement, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs. In accordance with Rule 81, Honorable Dolili Dwaba tables the following member statement. On the 2020 final matric exams, Madam Speaker, the matric class of 2020 will be sitting for their final exams. These exams takes place at a time that the world is faced with a global pandemic. We are aware of the difficulties of our matrix had to undergo to get to this point. Their resilience and strength has been tested, and they held on to their dreams. And now they are close to the finishing line. We urge them to continue being positive and diligent and seek help when they feel overwhelmed. Their hard work will pay off. Madam Deputy Speaker, as the ANC, we extend our well wishes to all grade 12 learners in Gauteng and across the country. We offer them words of encouragement taken from the book of Deuteronomy 31, verses 6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified, for the Lord God is on your side and is with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. May the good Lord guide and protect you throughout your exams. Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker.
Thank you so much, Member Toli. Thank you. Thank you. Good luck. Good luck, Matriculant.
Thank you very much, Honorable Litwaba. I'll now move to Honorable Dilange to read out her statement.
Good morning, Madam Acting Speaker. The Freedom Front Plus welcomes the court's decision declaring the ANC's hostile takeover of Tshwane Metro from the coalition governance as unlawful. The power-hungry governance leaving municipalities and metros in financial and service delivery disaster is evident throughout Gauteng, and the Freedom Front Plus repeatedly pointed out the fact that municipalities like Mfuleni, Merafong, Rand West, Mogale City West Rand District should have been under administration way before the ANC focused on Tshwane. We take note of the MEC Mahile's media statement yesterday about Sedipeng and hope that the rest of the aforementioned municipalities are following. Legal processes are misused to drive political agendas and not for the purpose it was designed. In die toekoms sal die Vryheidsfront Plus seker maak dat persoonlike kostebevele aan politieke leiers wat soortgelyke magsbehepte aksies dryf toegeken word. Plaaslike regerings kan nie as politieke speelballe gebruik word met die oog op verkiesingsstemme nie. Ons moet die feit respekteer dat ons verkies is tot posisies waarin ons verantwoordelik is vir 'n beter lewe en toekoms vir alle gemeenskappe. We are proud that the Freedom Front Plus could play a prominent role in the getting Tshwane back and on track of the reinstatement of the city of its former functionality. The welfare of the residents and taxpayers are core priority. I'm going to say it again, Gauteng is the economical hub of South Africa. It requires extraordinary management and leadership, which we are not getting at this point. Action should not stop at Tshwane. The smaller municipalities are rotten to the core and financially depleted by leaders and officials of the ANC. Serious cleanup and accountability should start there as well. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yeah. We'll now move to questions. But before we do questions, let me just apologize. I indicated that we were going to get the presentation or the briefing from IEC.
Madam Chair of Chairs, Member Mabala.
I don't have your name here.
No, it's announcements.
We are not in the toilet, Mabala. We are not in the toilet.
I did deal with the announcement earlier, ma'am, and I'm now on statement by members. And after statement by members, I'm going straight to questions. But there's a mistake that an error that I need to correct, and I'm correcting that error. Thereafter, we go to the
But I was
first
struggling
item of
to
the day.
connect, Chair of Chairs.
Ma'am.
I was struggling to connect. It's just a brief. It's a brief announcement.
You'll do it now. You'll do it on Thursday or Friday, ma'am. We're now moving to the next item on the agenda. In terms of the IEC briefing, honorable members, the briefing is scheduled for Thursday the 5th at 12:30 after the special sitting. My apologies for indicating that the briefing will be immediately after a member statement. We now move to the first item of the day, which is actually oral questions
Speaker.
to the executive.
Speaker.
I now call member
Deputy Speaker.
to read the first question or to
Deputy Speaker.
for community safety. Thank you.
Deputy Speaker.
I'm not Deputy Speaker, I'm the chairperson.
But it's Member Mazwi here. Chair of Chairs, you are wrong, because what happened when you start this, you indicate that you don't have list. Now you are surprising our member. You said no, you don't have his name on the list. What is that?
No, I do have the list, ma'am. That's why that's why I was calling people ngamagama abo ngokulandelana kwabo. So, and I did deal with announcement at the beginning of the meeting. There were no announcement. No member stood up and said, "I've got an announcement." And we then moved to other items, and those items were those that were listed as motion without notice, and we allowed them to read those motions, including Member Khatebe from EFF. So there's no one that has been excluded, and if a person have excluded himself, I don't think that is a problem of all members. I will allow her to read her announcement at the next sitting. For now, we are moving to the next item on the agenda, sir, if you can allow me. Member Shackleton?
So, Madam Speaker, Member Bloom, you were going to make a ruling on the motion for urgent debate. I think you need to tell us about it before the questions start.
The motion for urgent debate, Chair, it is on the agenda, and when we arrive at that item, I will make an announcement and also indicate my decision around that. But for now, we are moving according to the agenda, sir. Yes, it is there. If you look at the agenda in front of you, it does indicate that there's a motion for urgent debate. Thank you very much, Member Shackleton. Please ask your question directed to Member Mazibuko, to MEC Mazibuko.
Chairs, I hope I'm allowed to, simply because I see that Member Mabala's hand is up on the screen.
I'm the one that is chairing this sitting, sir. Can I allow you to ask the question?
Please.
If you are no longer interested, I'll move to the next member, please.
I am very interested. I will proceed. Thank you, Madam Chair of Chairs. Through you, Madam Chair of Chairs, to the MEC for Community Safety. Regarding crime in Pretoria North, could the MEC please indicate, are there plans in place by the SAPS to stop the systematic murder of motorists and pedestrians on the R80, otherwise known as the Mabopane Highway, in Theo Martin, just after Wonder Park? And if so, what? Are there plans in place by the SAPS to prevent the theft from and physical attacks on individuals on the Makhalis Mountain? And if so, what? Have SAPS considered improving police intelligence so as to prevent these crimes before they happen? Have SAPS considered empowering a specialist highway team with the appropriate resources for this task? And lastly, have SAPS considered creating partnerships between the surrounding police stations to address the urge joint? Thank you so much, Madam Chair of Chairs.
Thank you very much, sir. May I then allow Honorable MEC Mazibuko to respond to the questions?
Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs, and truly appreciated. Greetings to all members. Regarding the crime in Pretoria North, question number one, the answer is yes, there are plans in place by the SAPS to stop the systematic murder of motorists and pedestrians on the R80 Mabopane Highway in the Theo Martins, just after Wonder Park. And the project is ongoing and it is monitored daily. The second question on if there are plans in place by SAPS, yes. The station increased police visibility by posting a static vehicle daily, as the area is on the borders of Hercules and Acacia policing precinct. Both police stations deploy a vehicle. Weekly multidisciplinary integrated operations are also conducted to intensify the visibility in the Magaliesberg mountain. On the third question, if SAPS has considered improving police intelligence, yes, crime intelligence gathers information, and they are always activated to check on that. And informers are utilized to gather also intelligence. And in addition,
Awareness campaigns are conducted to warn members of the public of identified risks and threats as the area attracts tourists. Others also go up the mountain to go and pray. Honorable Chair of Chairs, so if members of the public can also be careful when they actually stop alongside that mountain if they go for their pilgrimages. Nabayotandaza, Chair of Chairs. And has question number 4, has SAPS considered empowering specialist highway unit with appropriate resource? The Tshwane Highway Patrol Unit is actually activated and is always available, including the Highway Patrol. And on question number 5, has SAPS considered creating partnership with the surrounding police stations? Yes, Acacia and Hercules police stations work in partnership to address this scourge. And in addition, partnerships are also in place with the Tshwane Metro Police Department, the Tshwane Public Order Policing, K9, the Mounted Unit by the Gauteng Traffic, COPS, Tshwane, Crime Intelligence, as well as the Community Policing Forums. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC Mazibuko. I'll now call upon Dr. Shackleton to ask a supplementary question or make a short remark. Dr. Shackleton.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair of Chairs. I'd just like to make a short remark in that it seems we are paying attention to these crimes now, that it has become a rather big issue where community members have been complaining. And I think that the measures that are in place, and even looking at measures which we can improve upon, have to be continuous. They have to be all year round, 365 days a year, so that these crimes are prevented, because really these are scourges that the local community feels are now out of control and that they're finding difficult to deal with. So hopefully we can put measures in place that are long lasting, that are continuous, and that last for several decades. Thank you so much.
But why were you asking the question in the first place if already you have got a response?
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Shackleton. Can I check with members if any member wants to ask a supplementary question or make a short remark in terms of Rule 137? Okay, thank you very much. I'll now move to, thank you very much, Mema Zibuko. If you do want to respond to the supplementary question or you want to make a short remark, now is your turn, Ma'am.
Honorable Ezra has already responded on my behalf. Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable MEC Mazibuko. I'll now move to Honorable Bloom, who will read the question HL029 to the member of the Executive Council for Health. In this case, it is the acting MEC, MEC J. Mamabulo, who will actually reply to the questions. Please, Honorable Bloom, read your question.
Thank you, Honourable Acting Speaker. My apology, my camera doesn't work. To the acting member of the Executive Council for Health, regarding the security vetting of senior management appointees, will the MEC please indicate, 1, what is the prescribed procedure and requirements in this regard? 2, in how many instances was this not done for a senior appointment since 1st January last year? 3, what are the names and positions of senior personnel appointed since January last year who were not security vetted when they were appointed? 4, what accounts for any lack of security vetting? And 5, what steps are being taken or have been taken to ensure that there is accountability for any lack of security vetting and to ensure that all future appointments are properly vetted? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Member Bloom. I'll now call upon Acting MEC, Honorable MEC Mamabulo, to respond to the question. Honorable Mamabulo.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I'm here. Hope you can hear me. Chair of Chairs.
We can hear you, sir.
Thank you very much. Now, the reply to the question raised by Honorable Jack Bloom, taken together question 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The reply is that I have directed the department to conduct a review with respect to all the vetting process matters, and that once a review report has been submitted to me, I will then be in a better position to update on this matter. So, and I'd like to appeal to Honorable Bloom to allow me to conduct a proper review of the department's vetting process. And once the review report is ready, I will share it with the Honorable Member. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mama Bolo. I'll now ask Ndate Bloom to ask a supplementary question or make a remark.
Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker. Yes, I understand the MEC's response and the need for review, and that's what worries me, that there's been a lot of senior appointments made in the past without a security vetting, and that's probably a reason why we've had so many problems with the people who are appointed. So I think the Honourable Acting MEC is aware that there's a big problem there. I just really hope that we get a proper review, an honest review, that it's shared with this House, and that if anybody failed in their duty, there will be disciplinary action and consequences. But it seems to me that there's been a lot of senior appointments made without proper security vetting, and I hope we find out the true extent of it as soon as possible. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Honourable Bloom. May I then request honourable members, anyone who have a supplementary question or a remark, to ask the question. Thank you very much, Honourable MEC. Any response to Bloom?
Chair of Chairs, I would just like to acknowledge and appreciate the positive response to my plea by Honorable Jack Bloom. And I certainly commit that the report, once the review process has been concluded, it will definitely be shared and the report will be made available. At this point, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mama Bolo. I now call the member Ramulifo to read question ED013 to the member of the Executive Council for Education. Honorable Ramulifo.
Thank you, Chair of Chairs.
That's Ramulifo. Honorable Ramulifo.
Retrenchments due to COVID-19. If yes, what were the outcome of these assessments? And if there are reprioritization focusing on maintenance and LTSM to assist schools battling with operational cost? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Ramulifo. I will now call Honorable Lisufi to reply to the member's question.
Thank you so much, Acting Speaker, and thank you so much, Member Ramulifo, for your question. In terms of the question 1, where you're asking whether we have provided funding to fee-paying schools where parents are battling to pay due to COVID-19, the department answers as follows. Yes, the department has bailed out all fee-paying and no fee-paying schools in the province as a result of them struggling to meet their financial obligations due to parents who were not paying school fees or are not capable to pay school fees or were laid down or they faced serious financial challenges during the period of COVID. Question 2, you asked whether we are assisting even fee-paying schools. The answer is yes, we are also assisting fee-paying schools and have provided financial assistance to all our schools. In terms of question 3, yes, the department conducted an assessment which revealed that most of the parents are unable to pay school fees that are due, and schools were struggling to meet their day-to-day financial obligations. In an attempt to ensure that schools don't collapse or schools are not capable to execute their day-to-day mandate, the department felt that it was important that we give them a financial relief so that they can be in a position to provide academic support to our learners. The department took a decision to bail out all schools with regard to payment, especially for water and electricity, in order to avoid disconnection of basic services, which may exacerbate the situations or our plans in fighting COVID-19. You might be aware that one of the powerful tools that we are using to fight COVID-19 is to allow learners or our staff members to wash their hands frequently. Failure of parents to pay school fees would have led to some of the schools being terminated, not receiving water purely because the municipalities have terminated their services. So in stepping in paying water for electricity, we felt that we have assisted these schools also to fight COVID-19 besides the challenges faced by parents who cannot be in a position to pay for school fees. In terms of question 5, the department has issued circular 10/2020, which have attached as Annexure A to schools. The purpose of the circular is to relax the requirements for norms and standards for schools funding allocation paid to 2020 academic year. This is to allow schools to deviate their funds as budgeted and approved by the AGM. However, no deviation for the payment of essential services is allowed. This is in line with COVID-19 pandemic demands that has put financial constraints on all our schools. Thank you so much, Acting Speaker. Chair of Chairs.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable MEC Lesufi. May I then check with Honorable Ramulifo if he does have a question, a supplementary question or a short remark? Okay. In terms of Rule 134 in bracket 7, I now open for additional supplementary questions or additional remarks by members who wish to do so.
Chair of Chairs, Member Mabala.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I just request that next time the MEC must switch on his camera when he's responding? Thank you.
Thank you very much. There was no question or supplementary.
Unfortunately, I'm taking Member Mawala.
No, there was no supplementary question or remark. Thank you very much. We now move to the next question, again by Member Ramulifo, which is question ED014, directed to the Executive Council member, Honorable Lesufi. That's Ramulifo. Your question, sir? Honorable Ramulifo. Your second question of the day, sir. It seems there is a challenge in terms of connectivity with Honorable Ramulifo. If he's ready, I will come back to him. I now move to the next question.
I'll forward the answers to him. There's no need to come back, Chair of Chair. I'll forward the answers to him. Thanks.
Okay, but maybe we are also interested in your response, Honorable Lesufi, because when it's
the response is in writing.
Okay, so can it be made available so that it can be reflected on the minutes? Because maybe some of the members are interested in your answers. So if you could just submit it to the table, sir.
Thank you so much, Chair of Chairs.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. We now move to the next question, which is SD013, directed to the Executive Member for Social Development. The question will be asked by Member Mufama. Member Mufama, sir, please ask your question.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. My question is,
Member Mufama, my apology.
Yes.
I said sir when it's ma'am. You
Okay,
can read your question, ma'am.
No problem, Deputy Chair. My question is, considering that the case of XXV, the MC for Health and Social Development, and 3 others case number is 19744/2012 in High Court of South Africa. Gauteng, the local division, Johannesburg. At the EFF, we are aware that the Gauteng Department of Health settled this cost sterilization matter before going to trial, and that they were ordered to pay an amount of 470 and 800, among other costs. On the 14th of March 2014, furthermore, says the release of Commission of Gender Equality investigation report of the forced sterilization of women living with HIV and AIDS in South Africa on the 24th of February 2020. Will the MC respond to the following questions? Number 1, what was the role of the Department of Social Development in the case of WSB, the MC for Health and Social Development, and 3 others? In your response, indicate the liability, if any, on the part of the department and how this was resolved. Number 2, what was the any settlement paid by Department of Social Development in this cost of sterilization matter? In your response, provide the exact settlement amount in rands and cents, and the date of settlement. A copy of proof of settlement is also encouraged. Number 3, follow me the report, provide a detailed action report undertaken by the department, specifically the programs to provide physical support to the victims of this total
Madam Chair, please, we cannot hear the member talking. That's actually supposed to talk. Please can members mute? Thank you, Chair.
But this thing of addressing the house in bedrooms, it's a problem. Now partners are talking to other people.
Be in order when I say.
Honorable Mufama, please continue, ma'am. Honorable Mufama. I'm muting. I'm now losing my members. Honorable Mufama, please continue with your question.
Okay, Deputy Chair. When you said undertaking by the department be implemented under which program? In a response, provide the program and implementation date for said undertaking by the department. And number 5, what is the budget allocation for the social support service programs to be undertaken by the department? In a response, provide a detailed budget breakdown in rands and cents, in addition to the monitoring and evaluation tools that will be used as a specific area, what region for program support implementation. I thank you, Deputy Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mufama. Can I then request Honorable Mukhechi to please respond to the questions?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair of Chairs. Greetings to honorable members and the Premier. And thank you very much, Honorable Mufama, for the question. Response to question 1. The matter was decided during or about 2012. At this time, the Department of Social Development and Health were merged into one department. All the records relating to this matter are unavailable. The Gauteng Department of Social Development has tried to source records from the Department of Health and the State Attorney. It is therefore not possible for the department to respond to these questions without proper records. Response to question 2. See response in section in question 1 because it is not applicable. Response to question 3. The report on the findings was handed over to the Department of Health, who holds the primary responsibility of recommendations. It is the prerogative of the Department of Health to seek assistance from the Gauteng Department of Social Development if there are identified needs. However, the Gauteng Department of Social Development is committed to assist with the provision of psychosocial support to the identified and affected individuals. A response to question 4, a detailed plan of action will be developed and implemented as soon as the information on the affected persons is received from the Department of Health. Also, the department will include the topic of human rights and sterilization in their awareness session. As per the need and referrals, the department will avail resources from the following programs: HIV and AIDS and victim empowerment. Response to question 5, there is no specific budget set aside. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair of Chairs.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Honorable Mokgethi. Can I then check with the Honorable Member to check if you do have supplementary questions?
Yes, Deputy Chairs of Chairs, I have supplementary questions. Is how many settlements, if any, has the department paid in sterilization cases to date? In response, provide exact amount paid or in the rents and sent. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. In terms of Rule 134 and bracket 7, I now open up for additional supplementary questions or additional remarks by members who wish to do so.
It's Member Mabala, Chair of Chairs.
Thank you very much, Member Mabala.
Can I just make a remark, because this question that Member Mufama asked, it's very key, because I remember very well that on the 15th of September, I posed a question similar to this to the MEC for Health. And the MEC for Social Development, I think she cannot say much on the matter, because as she has mentioned, health and social development were merged in 2012, but now both departments are now independent. But now, the thing is, Chair of Chairs, my remark is, I don't know why the acting MEC, Mama Bolo, misled the legislature on the 15th of September. And I think you must rule, Chair, on this, because his answers were inadequate. And according to Rule 260,
it's her answers, her answers.
I'm talking about Mama Bolo Lesego. Can you just stop talking while I'm busy engaging?
Can you focus on asking a question, ma'am, please?
So yeah, acting Chair of Chairs, I think MEC Mama Bolo must be taken to task, because according to Rule 260.
Oh, but it's also not the acting Chair of Chairs, it's the Chair of Chairs, not acting. The Chair of Chairs.
Chair of Chairs, sorry, Chair of Chairs. Acting MEC Mama Bolo must be taken to task, because according to Rule 260 of contempt of the legislature, 260 subsection 3I, the MEC intentionally, recklessly, or deliberately misled the legislature regarding material facts of an issue. So I would like you to rule on that, Madam Chair.
No, thank you very much. I'll ask Member Mokgethi to respond. I'm not going to rule to that. I'll need to go and investigate, and I'll give you an answer at the next meeting. Thank you very much, ma'am. Member Mokgethi, please respond to the question.
Thank you very much.
The supplementary question, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair of Chairs. I think the question has been responded to partly by Member Mabala. I think this question can be responded to by the Department of Health. As we have correctly said, that the department merged and demerged, and then I cannot respond on issues of sterilization. Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Member Mokgethi. We now move to the next question, which is question SP012. And the question is directed to the member of the Executive Council for Sports, Recreation and Arts and Culture. Member Hlope, the question will be asked by Honorable Member Masemula. Member Masemula, please ask a question. Member Masemula, ask a question, please. Again, Member Masemula, ask a question. Okay, I'll pass. The question will be submitted and it will
Chair of Chairs, I'll be asking Member Masemula's question.
Is Member Masemula in the house? Because I didn't get any apology from Member Masemula, and there was no indication that his question.
Chairs of Chairs, I'll be asking Member Masemula's question. Member Masemula, we let obtain chair.
But I don't have an apology. Okay. Member, you can ask the question, ma'am.
Right. We must I've been saying I'm taking Member Masemula not working for us. Question, so I think regarding the women living monument museum in Pretoria that remain non-operational, could the MEC please indicate why the facility continue to be inaccessible to members of the community of the public foyer after it was
not working for us?
When will
regarding
the
women living monument museum in the Pretoria,
can the
that
MEC
remain non-operational
in their responsibility include the date and please provide us with
inaccessible
figures
to members of the community of the public 4 years after it was unveiled? When will the facility be made accessible to the public? Can the MEC respond? Please include the date and please provide us with figures and cents of how much budgeted for in terms of the monument, how much has been spent, and why the facility is still not operational. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. May I then request, because there were two voices, can I check?
Chair, can members use one gadget when they come to speak? Because member Hadebe was using two gadgets. That's why we're having that echo. We couldn't even hear what's wrong.
Okay. No, I was wondering what was happening. So I thought there were two people that were asking the same question. Thank you very much for that, Honorable BC. Can I then request
two gadgets are registered on the platform.
Oh, okay. No, thank you very much, that MPC. Can I then request Member Shopper to please respond to the question and ask members to use only one gadget when participating in the House? Thank you. Member Shopper or MEC Shopper, please respond to the question, ma'am.
Thank you, Chair of Chairs. And if I may just apologize for not having the video on. I'm relying on my phone as my laptop was giving me connectivity difficulties. I will, however, respond, and I thank you for the question as given to the House. Just with regards to the Women's Living Monument, the question asks when will why is the facility continues to be inaccessible to members of the community. The response is as follows: the facility still remains inaccessible as it awaits the approval of an occupational certificate. Without such a certificate, it would be risky for activities to take place. With regard to question 2, when will the facility be accessible? We are working very closely with the city to ensure that before the end of this financial year, the matter is resolved, and we are anticipating, because they are asking for an exact date, so we have indicated that we are anticipating that by the 31st of March 2021, it should be operational. And that is just an estimation, but it could also be done before that. With regards to the rands and cents that have been utilized to date, the budget allocations and the expenditure is as follows. The Trencourt Black Gills JV, which was the contractor, we have the expenditure is 175,011,724.0 4.76. And for the PSP, which was awarded to Xylec Navigate JV, is 41011,993.67. And these come to a total of 216,023,718.73. Thank you, Madam Chair of Chairs.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. I now call upon the Honorable Member on behalf of Member Masemula to ask if there's any additional supplementary question or remarks. Please do so, ma'am.
No, I'll pass. Acting Speaker.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks. In terms of Rule 134 in bracket 7, I now open up for additional supplementary question or additional remarks by members who wish to do so.
Yes, please, Chair. It's Member Fuchs.
Yes, Member Fuchs.
Chair, thank you very much. I'd like to ask the MEC please to indicate why it is exactly the reasons why this memorial is still not open. What has actually gone wrong? And in her view, who is responsible for the huge delay we've had in this particular matter? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, sir. Honorable MEC, you can respond to the supplementary question.
Thank you, Chair. As indicated, Member Fuchs, that currently we are not able to have any activities take place until we have that occupational certificate. There has been, without a doubt, delays that have been noted, and that is why we're working very closely with the municipality to ensure that this is fast-tracked as soon as possible, because we too want to see it operational. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. We now move to the next item or question. Item SD 1014 to the member of the Executive Council for Social Development. The question will be asked by Member Khatebe. Member Khatebe, you can ask your question, ma'am.
Following the EFF Gauteng march to Olivenhorstbosch to a corrupt police station, which allows women trafficking, rape, crime, will the MEC respond to the following? Does the special task team that was created in July 2002 for the purpose of dealing with human trafficking still exist and have an office in the province? If not, why not? If so, where is it located? How many staff are employed in this unit? What are their ranks and how many cases have they dealt with? Prosecutions have been instituted and people have been convicted of traffic-related offences during the period 1 January 2016 up to the latest specified date for which information is available. How is the department addressing the human trafficking crisis in the province? What integrated intervention and systems are there in place to support victims of human trafficking in the province? In your response, provide the regional intervention and system implementation outcomes and targets for the period of 2016 to date. How is the department addressing the issue of police officers working with human trafficking syndicate in the province? In your response, indicate how many police officers have been implicit in human trafficking since 2016 and the number of syndicates identified in the province per region and wards. And number 5, what intervention does the department have in place to deal with the high human trafficking cases in Captain Park, Sunnyside, Pretoria, and Central Johannesburg? In your response, indicate the dates of intervention, implementation, its outcomes, and number of target beneficiaries per ward. I thank you.
Okay. Now, thank you very much. I'm not sure whether this was for this department. Or I thought it was supposed to be for community safety, but Member Mukherjee, can you please respond to the question?
Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs. I think we have covered me on that one. These questions need to be redirected to Department of Safety. I'm only going to respond to question 3. And the response to question 3, the Department of Social Development provides the following services to the victims of trafficking. We provide shelter services, detoxification services, psychosocial support services, letter of recognition to foreign victims, repatriation services to the country of origin. And then with regard to question 4, the response to that is the Department of Social Development is unable to respond to this question with regard to police officers working with trafficking syndicates. The matter falls under the jurisdiction of SAPS. With response to question 5, the Department of Social Development is unable to respond to the question. The matter falls under the jurisdiction of South African Police Service. I would really urge the member to direct the question to member to Honorable Mazibuko. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Honorable MEC Mukherjee. Can I then check with Member Khatebe if there's any supplementary question regarding the response that Member Mukherjee made?
Oh, thank you, Acting Speaker. I will direct the question to the MEC of Community Safety. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Any additional supplementary questions or additional remarks by members?
Yes, please, Chair of Chair.
Yes, ma'am. Who's that?
It's Member Ntsekhela.
Yes, Member Ntsekhela, you can ask your question or make a remark.
Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs. I would like to ask to the MEC, since we adopted that the Premier would be the ambassador for anti-human trafficking in the province, could we be told what successes they have had in terms of social development contributing to the supposed task team that was going to be set up, which is the second task team that is now being set up by Gauteng government after that motion was unanimously adopted in the previous term? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Member Mukherjee, you want to respond?
Thank you very much. Maybe I can respond on the appointment of the trafficking officers in the regions. There has been appointment of the regional ambassadors. They are just waiting for the official appointment. But as for the task team that is was proclaimed by the Premier, I cannot respond to that. Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Mukherjee. I'll now move to the next question, question SD-015, that is directed to the member of the Executive Council for Social Development, Honorable MEC Mukherjee. The question will be asked by Member BD Berinost.
Thank you, Chair of Chairs. Chair, I would love proceedings to initial my names properly. I'm not BD, I'm BF Badenhorst. Please, Chair. Okay. And can I continue? Thank you.
What does F stand for?
Felicity. Chair, MEC, could you please give me the following answers on these questions? What is the role of the region on food banks from regional director to officials? How many food banks are there in the province? And how is the distribution of this food taking place? How many social development, how does social development take care of people with disabilities? And how many are there, and do all of them receive grants? And if they do, how much is the grants? Do the people with disabilities receive psychosocial support services, and where are these services rendered? Thank you, MEC.
Okay, thank you very much, Honourable Member. Can I then request Honourable MEC to please respond to the questions?
Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs, and thank you very much, Honorable Badinos, for the question. Response to question 1, the Regional Director is responsible for all the programs, activities, and implementation within the region, including the food bank. The Regional Director manages and oversees the partnership between the department and the funded NPOs in the region, including the food banks. The regional officials are responsible for the following: to assess all potential NPOs that submitted business plans for the implementation of the food bank program, convene panels of the NPOs to determine the ability and suitability of the NPO to manage the food bank program, recommendation of the funding by the regional officials to head office, determine the resources needed for the implementation of the food bank program according to the business plan of the NPO, and the standardization of the food banks, training of food banks personnel on the implementation of food bank activities, ensure the signing of the SLA, ensure the food bank implementation and monitoring thereof, including warehouse management and distribution of food bank, management of referral of potential beneficiaries from internal and external stakeholders in line with the criterion. Response to question 2, there are 5 food banks in the province. After receiving a list of potential beneficiaries from the regional office, food bank personnel is dispatched to verify whether the household qualify for food relief and food parcels, and then food parcels are then distributed to the households that qualify. The distribution is done mainly directly to the individual household. However, central delivery where in the informal settlements where there are challenges of addresses. Response to question 3, in caring for persons with disability, the department provides the following support services: education and awareness raising programs, focusing in the main on the rights of the persons with disabilities. The target for the 2020-2021 financial year is 62,337 persons with disabilities, and the department reached 2,466 persons with disabilities in the second quarter. Provision of residential care. These are provided to persons with disabilities who are 18 years and older, who, as a result of their physical, social, and mental condition, require care and protection. The target for 2020-2021 financial year is 1,938 persons with disabilities, and the department reached 1,747 persons with disabilities in the second quarter. Provides assisted living. These are provided to persons with disabilities over the age of 18 years who can maintain some degree of independence, but due to their physical, their social and mental condition, need care and cannot remain in the community. The target for the 2020-2021 financial year is 56 persons with disabilities, and the department reached 45 persons with disabilities in the second quarter. Protective workshops. Protective workshops are aimed at socio-economic empowerment of persons with disabilities, and the target with disabilities that are 18 years and older who can function with assistance in the community. The target of 2020-21 financial year is 4,476 persons with disabilities, and the department reached 1,003 persons with disabilities in the second quarter. Another function that we provide is home-based care. Services are meant for frail persons with disability and are delivered in the individual homes. The target for 2020-2021 financial year is 491 persons with disability, and the department reached 383 persons with disability in the second quarter. Another function is psychosocial support services. These are social work services offered in communities. The target for 2020-21 financial year is 14,906 persons with disabilities, and the department reached 1,759 persons with disabilities in the second quarter. Another function is an independent living support. This involves personal assistance to persons with disabilities, support groups and peer support, provides funding to NPOs to implement programs on behalf of the department. Another service is collaboration with other government departments, NPOs, to address problems with accessing services, resources, and promoting economic opportunity as well as social inclusion. As per the SASSA reports, for October 2020, the following persons with disabilities are receiving disability grant. Permanent disability grant is 83,012 persons with disabilities. Temporary disability grant is 38,130 people with disabilities. Response to question 4. Yes, persons with disabilities receive psychosocial support. These services are rendered at the following: residential facilities for persons with disabilities, assisted living facilities, protective workshops, government institutions, NPOs, social and offices, regional and local offices, service point. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair of Chairs.
Much Honorable Moketi. I'll now allow Member Perinost to ask a supplementary question or a short remark.
Okay. Thank you, Chair of Chairs. MEC, I really want to get an answer on this, please. Is the money, the 350s? No, this is wrong. The food parcels, I believe the people are not getting food parcels anymore. Is this food parcel diverted to the 350 rand that they receive now, the unemployed people? Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. In terms of Rule 134 in bracket 7, I now open up for additional supplementary questions or additional remarks by members who wish to do so.
Yes, ma'am.
Chair, I've got a question, please.
You are?
Member Nteke.
Okay, Member Nteke, you are noted. There's another male voice.
It was Member Msimanga, Chairperson.
You are noted, Member Msimang. Any other person? Okay, thank you very much. Member Nteke, you can ask the question.
I would like to make a remark, Chair of Chairs, and my remark is as follows. I think the department needs to seriously go into looking at the food banks, the chain from the money that is actually budgeted per food parcel, when you go from the food bank and then the people that are appointed. If people were given a voucher or an EFT or an e-wallet directly, the beneficiaries would get far more value for money. The other concern I have about the food banks is the fact that we've got 5 different food banks in the province, and all of them have different pricing per food parcel, which then makes you worry, how does a tender go out and have different prices? If you have a disparity of almost 200 rand between the different food parcels, you could have actually taken out of 5 food parcels, have another food parcel for a family in a different region. So for me, those are things that I think the department needs to review. I think there's a lot of things that are just not going smoothly. And then the people at the end of the food chain, which is the beneficiaries, get far more less money for the buck that the department is actually spending, which for me is almost tantamount to fruitless and wasteful expenditure. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Member Nteke. I now allow Honourable Member Msimang to please speak.
Thank you very much, ma'am. To the Honourable MEC, one of the things that became very apparent is that during the height of the lockdown, level 4, 5, 3, we've seen a whole lot of the private sector coming in to assist where government wasn't able to then keep up. So I would want to find out what is the plans in terms of, cementing the relationships between those that had been working with us in the private sector to ensure that they augment the work that government is doing in this social development area. Whether we are actually engaging with them further, and also where are we in terms of solidifying those relations to make sure that we continue to assist where we possibly can, because clearly government is not going to be able to then cope on this particular one, ma'am. So where are we and what are the plans now going forward? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, honorable members. I'll now allow the MEC to please respond to supplementary questions.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair of Chairs. Member Badenos, I think on Sunday when the minister was responding on the issue of the 350, I thought that is why we were not sure whether to ask this question or not. But nevertheless, we still distributing food parcels, but even if it is not at the rate of the distribution that we're doing during the lockdown, because remember now the economy has opened, and then we only attend to those that maybe submit their request, but the process of going and doing the verification and then the distribution thereafter. And then it doesn't necessarily mean that. And then members, thank you very much for those remarks. I think we are noting that. And then at the level of national, we are starting the process of implementing the e-voucher. And then we will be, I think, concluding and we'll be implementing in the next financial year. Because remember, those people that are appointed now, those that are mending the food banks are currently having a valid contract, so we cannot just stop and then implement the e-vouchers. But I'm taking that into consideration, your remarks. And then Dr. Msimanga, the relationship between the private sector and the department has not stopped. We are still receiving some donations, and then we do have a register for all those donations, and the relationship is very good between the department and the private sector, and we are planning to maintain that relationship. Thank you very much, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable MEC. We now move to the next question, question TR007, directed to the member of the Executive Council for Roads and Transport, Honorable MEC Mamabulo. The question will be asked by member M. Mufama. Ma'am, you are allowed to ask your questions. Member Mufama. Member Mufama number 2. Member Mufama 3. Okay. What we'll do is we'll ask Honorable MEC Mamabulo to submit the response to your question to the table, and the questions to your answers to your questions will then be circulated with the minutes. Thank you very much, Member Mufama, since you are unable to ask your question. We now move to question INF 005, directed to the member of the Executive Council for Infrastructure Development, MEC Mutara. The question is asked by Member C. Mabala. Member Mabala, you can ask your question, ma'am.
Thank you, Chair of Chairs. Can we request that Member Badenhorst mute her mic? With regards to the Nasrec Field Hospital, would the MEC please indicate, number 1, how much has the department spent so far towards rental costs, electricity costs, utilities, and other additional costs? In your response, please indicate if the Department of Health has already released the funds to you towards this cost. And number 2, what is the duration of the lease agreement?
Member Mabala, we are struggling to hear you, ma'am.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I will ask the question again to the MEC for Infrastructure Development member, Honorable Member Mutara. First question is, with regards to the Nasrec Field Hospital, would the MEC please indicate, number one, how much has the department spent so far towards rental costs, electricity costs, utilities, and other additional costs? In your response, please indicate if the Department of Health has already released the funds to you towards this cost. And number two, what is the duration of the lease agreement?
Okay, thank you very much. Honorable MEC Mutara, please respond to the question.
Thank you very much, and thank you to Member Mabara for the question. The response is as follows. Both the Department of Infrastructure Development and Property Management and the Department of Health are signatories of the lease agreement. However, in this instance, the payment towards the lease costs is borne by the client department. They do not transfer, Department of Health does not transfer any funding, in relation to this lease agreement. Neither do they transfer funding, neither does the Department of Health transfer funding to the Department of Infrastructure Development for any of the other related costs, such as electricity or utilities or other additional costs as the question relates. Therefore, in regards to the expenditure, the Department of Health is best placed to respond as to how much they have spent thus far. The duration of the lease agreement was April to July 2020 and has subsequently been extended from 1st of August 2020 to the 31st of January 2021. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Honorable Mabala. Any supplementary question or short remark?
Thank you, Chair of Chairs. Yeah, the reason I'm asking Member Mutara this question and not asking Acting MEC Mamabolo is because in our previous meetings between the the Committee for Health and the Committee for Infrastructure Development, the Department of Infrastructure Development failed to answer questions that were sent to them by the committee. In this regard, we as the Committee of Health, we asked on the meeting that was held on the 6th of August 2020, and the Department of the DID department responded that the field hospital is only a contracted facility, right? And the lease agreement is a confidential contractual document between the department and the service provider. So I'm really concerned that how come the contractual document is confidential, because we need, as committees in the legislature, the MEC and the entire department, they account to us. So if we request a certain document, it cannot be correct to say that it is confidential. What happened to transparency and accountability? So can member MEC please enlighten me on that as to why documents are being confidential in her department? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Mabala. In terms of Rule 134 and bracket 7, I now open up for additional supplementary questions or additional remarks by members who wish to do so. Siyabonga. Honorable Mutara, please respond to the supplementary question.
Thank you, ma'am. The original question related to the costs of rent, electricity, utilities, which we are unable to respond to as I've explained in our response around the lease agreement, because What was asked was the details of the conditions of the lease agreement. We responded saying that the lease agreement is also subject to disclosure clauses by ourselves and the service provider, and that that the department would make the lease agreement available for viewing at the department office. But the question then was related to the terms and conditions of the lease agreement. On the question of the utilities, like I indicated, we are unable to respond. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable MEC. We now move to the next item, which is for health, HL 030, to the acting member of the Executive Council for Health, Honorable Mama Bullo. The question will be read by Honorable Mabala. Simabala.
Excuse me, Chairperson. Excuse me, Chair of Chairs. Excuse me, please. Can I ask you something, please?
Okay,
Chair, is it possible to read Member Mufamba's question because she's struggling to connect? Please. After this.
I've indicated, ma'am, how we are going to deal with those questions. We have not lost the questions. We will be receiving the response to the questions when we get our minutes, ma'am. So I've already passed that one, and it's not the first time that I'm doing that. This is the second time in this meeting that I've done so, ma'am. Thank you very much, sis. Can we then move to Honorable Mabala?
Thank you, Chair of Chairs. With regard to the former CFO to the Department of Health, would the MEC, actually the acting MEC, please indicate, number one, when did the department receive the resignation letter from the former CFO? Number two, when last did the department pay salary to the former CFO? Number three, did the department pay a severance package to the former CFO? And number four, if yes to number three above, can the MEC indicate how much was paid in severance package?
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Mabala. MEC, acting MEC for Health, Date Mamabulo, please respond to the question.
Very much. Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs. I think at this time, Chair, I just want to paraphrase my reply to Honorable Member Mabala as follows, that given persisting intellectual comorbidities that causes political aberrations, I'd like to answer as follows. Reply to number one is that the letter is dated 25th May 2020, received 28 May 2020. I hope the member is following. The reply to question two is July 2020, salary month is for July 2020. And then reply to three, it's no. And then reply to four is not applicable. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. We now move to supplementary questions by the member or comment.
Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs. I would like to ask the MEC as to why the last salary was paid in July, because if I remember correctly, the CFO resigned with immediate effect, so there was no notice. If I'm correct, but if I'll be corrected by him as the acting MEC for Health. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. In terms of 134 in bracket 7, I now allow members to ask supplementary questions or make short remarks? Thank you very much. Honorable MEC, please respond to the supplementary question.
The letter of resignation was stated to start with effect from 1st of June. And the department then cancelled the salary of end of August. And the reasons for that, I guess, are matters that would relate to how the department dealt with the resignation. Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, thank you very much, Honorable MEC Mamabulo. We now move to the next question that will be read by Honorable Member Blue. Question HL031 directed to the acting member of the Executive Council for Health, Date Mamabulo. Honorable Blue, please ask your questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair of Chairs, to the MEC for Health. With regard to the quote, independent process that former Health MEC Gwen Ramahopa referred to in an oral reply to questions on 19 March 2019 concerning disciplinary proceedings against Chief Planning Director Levi Mosonogi and Deputy Director General Clinical Services Dr. Richard Labete, who was cited in evidence of the Esidimenia arbitration hearing. Will the MEC please indicate, 1, what was the outcome of this quote independent process? 2, who quoted this? Who conducted this independent process? 3, why has no action been taken against Messrs. Mosonogi and Labete concerning their role in the Life Esedimeni tragedy, as revealed at the arbitration hearings chaired by Judge Dikon Mosineki? And 4, what action will be taken to ensure that there's proper accountability for the actions in the Life Esedimeni tragedy? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Blue. Honorable Date Mamabulo, please respond to questions.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Chair of Chairs and Honorable Jack Bloom. The reply to the question number 1, Honorable Bloom, is that the independent process in respect of the investigation of Dr. Labete and Mr. Mosonogi. Sorry, let me start with the outcome, the first one. The outcome is that they were both charged. And in both cases, the presiding officer announced a written warning. And then number 2, who conducted this independent process? With respect to the investigation, the investigating officer was Mr. Tuswa. And Mr. Tuswa is the presiding, and then the presiding officer was appointed Attorney Levu Nongovela. So let me just also clarify that the department was represented in the disciplinary hearing by this law firm. And then the presiding officer and the disciplinary process were done in terms of Chapter 7 of the SMS Handbook and the Public Service Coordinating Bargaining Council 1 of 2003. And of course, the chairperson was also appointed in terms of Resolution 1 of 2003. So that's very much important. And to that extent, let me also indicate that the action that was taken was also in line with the live testimony tragedy arbitration hearings. And yeah, and I just want to clarify that in the case of Mr. Musenohi, Honorable Jack Bloom, Mr. Musenohi was not found, there was no adverse finding against him by both the South African Police Service and the SIU that interviewed him. And with respect to Mr. Libete, the disciplinary process considered his mitigating circumstances and factors. And it was in that context that both of them were given a written warning by the presiding officer, who was appointed in line with the bargaining bargaining council resolution 1 of 2003. So a full disciplinary process did take place, and there's an outcome, and they were both given a warning, a written one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Mama Bulo. Dr. Bloom, a supplementary question or a remark?
Thank you, Chair of Chairs. Yes, I'm pleased that an independent process was done, and we have to have accountability for it. I was afraid that some officials were slipping through the cracks. I must say a written warning seems rather weak in the context of the 144 people who died and many others who suffered in the Life of Sedimeni tragedy. I'd really like to have some more details about the actual findings, but we have independent processes. Of course, people have to be properly have their rights, and I respect that process. And I really think that the problem is not just disciplinary actions in the department, but we actually criminal charges laid for cases where they need to be laid. And it's just quite shocking, actually, that years later, not a single person has been criminally charged. I don't know if the MEC can share with us any progress with getting charges and the proper court action against those implicated in Sedimeni.
Thank you. May I check if there's any additional supplementary questions from other members? Okay. Thank you very much, honorable members. And Tate Mama Bulo, please respond to the supplementary question.
Yeah, just Honorable Chair of Chairs, Honorable Jack Bloom asked actually 2 questions in his follow-up. I just want to clarify him that with respect to Mr. Musonegi, the report indicates that there was no adverse findings that were made against him. That's number 1. And number 2, the SIU and SAPS were involved in his case and in all these cases. So the issue of criminal proceedings, criminal liability, it's a matter of law enforcement agencies, and particularly with Musenohi, it is clearly indicated in the report that he was interviewed, and there was no finding that required criminal proceedings. So that should be clarified. And then secondly, the matters that relate to live testimony, that's the second part of the question, are matters that have been dealt with by law enforcement agencies. And I think it will not be correct for us as a department and as the province to be pronouncing ourselves on matters that are in the purview and are constitutionally dealt with by organs of the state that are competent and were specifically established to deal with them. So to that extent, Honorable Bloom, it will definitely be extremely incorrect for me to get involved into a matter that is clearly the prerogative of other organs of the state. Getting comment on them will be a complete violation of the principles of cooperative governance, and that is why I will not comment further on the matter. Thank you very much.
Okay. The last question for the day is question PS 017, directed to the member of the Executive Council for Community Safety, Mayor MEC Mazibuko. The question being asked by member M. Shackleton. Member Shackleton, please ask your question, sir.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair of Chairs, through you to the MEC for Community Safety. Regarding the arrest of people manufacturing steroids in the province, will the MEC please indicate, one, how many arrests have been made in relation to people manufacturing and selling steroids since 2017 to date? Two, what was the rand value of the goods seized in number one? Three, how prolific is the manufacture and sale of steroids in Gauteng? Four, what were the company names or product names of the steroids being manufactured and sold? And five, how many convictions have there been since 2017 to date for the manufacturing and sale of steroids? I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable MEC Mazibuko, please respond to the questions.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. May I beg your indulgence, Chair of Chairs? The answers to that question have not been forthcoming from the SAPS. As you know, that we as the department, we don't arrest, we don't investigate, we don't do anything. So to date, they have not responded. We made follow up until now, they have not responded properly. May we request that we submit the answers in writing as soon as they are submitted. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair of Chairs.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Yes, the questions will be directed or submitted, given to the answers, not the questions, to Member Shackleton, but I'll also make sure that members, since these questions are now the legislature questions, I'll also circulate the answers to all members. So Member Shackleton, you will get your answers directly when SAPS respond to your questions, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that was the last question for the day. I now call the secretary to please read the first order. I think this is the second last item of the day. Honorable Secretary, Secretary, please read the first order. Okay, I'll do it myself. Petition Standing Committee Oversight Report on the second quarterly report of 2020-21 financial year. I'll now call upon Member Letswalo to please present the committee's report.
Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs. I have the esteemed pleasure as the chairperson of the Petition Standing Committee to table the committee's second quarter performance report for the 2020-2021 financial year as follows. But Chair, I will request that I focus on the elementary aspects of the report. And as such, I will speak to those which are mostly quintessential. Executive summary, the petitions process remains a key part of fulfilling the legislature's principle of creating a platform which enables the people of Gauteng to bring forth matters of concern to the attention of the legislature. This means that a petition can serve to defend individual rights or interests or to challenge the legislature on a matter of general interest in its area of a legislative competence as well as government oversight. During the period under review, the committee adopted 21 new petitions and were referred to various authorities for consideration and reporting as guided by Section 7E of the Gauteng Petitions Act. There were 653 ongoing petitions from the first quarter. Thus, together with the 21 newly adopted petitions, the overall total of ongoing petitions during the period comes to 679. New petitions adjudicated. The 21 newly adopted petitions relate mainly to housing issues, title deeds, development, and service delivery, especially at the municipal level. Housing provision issues and municipal-related service delivery challenges remain the point of contention during the quarter under review. The petitions adopted during this period were referred to the relevant authorities for consideration and reporting. COVID-19 regulations hampered the committee's modus operandi of conducting hearings, which ordinarily yielded positive results towards the closure of petitions. Petitions analysis, there's a table in the body of the report that illustrates the distribution of the 21 new petitions in accordance with authorities to which the petitions were referred to. The Department of Cogta and Human Settlement and the City of Joburg had the most petitions. Most of the petitions had to do with RDP misallocation and issues of formalization. Committee activities, amongst others, during the period, the reporting period, members of the committee also conducted one-side a visit in Winterfell to engage with petitioners to obtain additional information on the demarcation of the area in relation to a request that was made through the petition to build to have a school built within the area. The visit confirmed that the area falls within Gauteng and that the existing schools were within the required radius, and hence there wouldn't necessarily have been a need to build a school, but that other services might need to be provided, and hence the committee is following up with the city of Tshwane. Evaluation of responsiveness. The report demonstrates that there are still system inefficiencies in the manner and turnaround times within which petitions are responded to. Of the 21 referred petitions, only 2 adhere to the 20-day turnaround time as per the Gauteng Petitions Regulations of 2016. Again, of the 21 referred petitions, only 8 received the reports from the following authorities, which is the City of Tshwane, Department of Human Settlement, Department of Health, and the City of Ekurhuleni. This demonstrates improvement within the stated departments or municipalities. However, this only represents a 38% responsiveness indicator. The committee is worried about the remaining petitions which need responses from those specific authorities. Shockingly and worryingly, only 9% of the petitions were responded to within the 20-day turnaround time, namely human settlements as well as the City of Ekurhuleni. The committee will continue to fulfill its mandate of adjudicating petitions even amidst the COVID-19, which has also added a spotlight on the lack of responsiveness by authorities. The committee will further leverage the use of the rapporteur system for members to be more actively involved in the follow-up of referred petitions, as opposed to just the support staff doing it on their own. The committee finds that the lack of responses to petitions is intolerably unsatisfactory and undermines the important role of petitions and the legislature's accountability to the petitioners. On the backlog, which is about our observation, the report further highlights the ever-rising avalanche of petitions, which now constitutes a serious backlog born out of inherited petitions, but also due to the continuous inadherence by both line function departments and municipalities to process petitions within the stipulated time frame as prescribed by the Act. Accordingly, the process to clear off the backlog requires all stakeholders, including the legislature as a whole, to be involved, as any failure towards that end will undermine the institutional vision, foster public confidence and pride amongst the users of the petition system. Committee concerns responsiveness by authorities, which is number 1. In terms of the turnaround time, authorities on responding to petitions, it is found that most authorities only provide responses and progress on petitions when invited to attend hearings by the committee. During the reporting period, the committee could not hold hearings which expose non-responsiveness from the authorities. The departments do not respond to the recommendations of the committee from the quarterly reports, and this really hampers the progress. The legislature should also monitor a resolution tracking mechanism for implementation of House resolutions. E-petitions, given the abrupt halt of ordinary working operations during the COVID-19 crisis, it placed the focus on the non-functionality of the e-petition system. This has had a significant impact on the work of the committee. The system is not responding to evolving digital technologies. The tool, which is e-petitions, is intended to improve accessibility for citizens to services, but this has not been achieved. The e-petition system has great potential, which is being missed. An integrated e-petition, which is linked to provincial departments, would have ensured that the committee's work was not disrupted and rather ensured a smooth transition to the realities of working remotely and on real time. On recommendations, in an effort to address the non-responsiveness by authorities on petition handling and resolve, And based on the concerns raised above, the committee recommends that the Speaker, through the Speakers Forum and the leader of government business, to intervene on late responses by authorities in accordance with the 2016 Gauteng Petitions Regulation in Section 2D, for authorities to adhere to given and agreed upon timeframes. Feedback be submitted to the committee by no later than the 15th of February 2021. Number two, that the Premier to provide the committee with a report on the management of petitions in the departments. This report should be submitted to the committee by the 15th of February. So this will be an integrated report which gives much more insight around the overall planning by departments on how they embark on resolving petitions. On petitions, which is number three, the Speaker to accelerate the implementation of the e-petition system. The progress report to be provided to the committee again by no later than the 15th of February. On acknowledgements, I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge and thank the following committee members: Honorable Ndlovu, Honorable Schneeman, Honorable Mabunda, Honorable Chabalala, Honorable Peach, Honorable Mofama, Honorable Ledwaba, Honorable Hoffman, Honorable, there's another Ledwaba that we might have missed. We further wish to acknowledge the immense contributions and support provided by the committee coordinator, Ms. Vance, committee coordinator, Ms. Banyoni, committee administrator, Ms. Mfuku, committee researcher, Mr. Nwane, petitions officers, Mr. Lekade, Mr. Tiani, petitions administrator, Ms. Shabalala, Ms. Shabangu, legal advisor, Advocate Muramoholo, senior information officer, Mr. Letswalo, Hansan recorder, Mr. Tolu, and the service officer, Ms. Maba. So you will see already as we do the acknowledgement that we are short-staffed, and that is why there isn't ample people that we are acknowledging. Adoption in accordance with Rule 164, the Petition Standing Committee hereby presents a report to the House for adoption. And thank you so much, Chair of Chairs. Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs.
Chair of Chairs, in the absent, can we get a seconder? The mover and the seconder to the report.
Okay. My apology, Deputy Chair of Chairs. I didn't unmute myself.
Member Ndlovu, move to second.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member Ndlovu. All those who want to agree to the report, please say yes.
Yes.
All those who are against, please say no. Okay, the yes have it. Thank you very much. We now move to the next item on the agenda. I've received an urgent motion by member Bloom, who requested an urgent debate. May I then indicate, may I rule on his request? Honorable Bloom, there is no agency on this debate, and for that reason, I want to reject the debate because currently the Premier has appointed an acting incumbent, and there are no timelines for the appointment of a permanent MEC. The current incumbent who's acting as the MEC, so far he is doing very well in his responsibilities. And for that reason, and we've had such experience before, where a MEC acted for quite some time, and again, the same MEC did very well in that particular position, in his position, as well as the position where he was actually acting. For now, and for that reason, or for those reasons, MEC Honorable Bloom, I will actually reject the request for an urgent debate. Thank you very much, sir. That concludes the business of the day. Then the next sitting will be on Thursday, the 5th November 2020. And we will, after the sitting, we will be getting a briefing on the coming elections by IEC. Then I would like to then take this opportunity and thank you as members for attending this meeting and making sure the meeting is very peaceful. The meeting is adjourned.
Oh, thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you,
Chair.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chair of Chairs.
Bye. Bye. Thank you, RK Tamaya. Tumelo Tamaya.
Yeah, I get Tamaya. No.
Jacob Mama Bulo Tamaya.
Bye-bye, Chairperson.
Ralph Tamaya. Maile Tamaya.
Bye, Chair. Bye, Chair of Chairs. Thanks for the session.
Idiboni, bye-bye. Maile Tamaya.